How are you today? I am Anna Walker with Anna Walker Designs and StabThingsIntoExistence.com. I'm a little disheveled this morning, but I wanted to come to you and because I talked about the felting machine yesterday with our experiment project, the two different pieces that we put together and wove them together to create a single piece. And I just worked this with the needle felting machine or embellisher. It's known as both names. And you can see that it does a mean job on connecting things. And now I can, pull and tug and not be worried about it coming apart. But I wanted to show you the machine so that you could see what I'm talking about. Now, this is not a machine that you would use for everything. The needle felting machine or embellisher is something that you would use on flat projects like this, on perhaps uh, garments, maybe a sweatshirt that you wanted to do a needle felted design embellishment on. Great way. Needle felting is a great way to cover up, spots that you can't get out, stains that won't go away. Well, just embellish the crap out of them. So this is a really good machine to use for that. Think of it as a sewing machine for felting. I mean, that's basically what it is. This is put out by a couple of different companies. The one that I have is a from Singer or Husqvarna, and it is the cool thing about it is that the plug, the power plug, fits my Bernina sewing machine, so I can just pull out the plug, switch machines, plug it back in again, and it works out really well for me. But I wanted to show you how this works, so I'm going to turn the camera down just a little bit. You're getting a different view of my workshop today. So it looks just like a sewing machine, only instead of a sewing machine, I mean, there you even have a arm that you can pull off. It fits nice and tight. But if you are doing, embellishing a garment or something, you can open up the arm so that it makes it a little easier to get, maybe around a neckline or maybe around a shoulder or around a hem. So this is a really nice way to be able to, customize something. And then, it just slides back on just like your sewing machine does. But instead of, and I'm going to take this off, I'm not going to be able to get very close up for you, um, mostly because the only way to get behind this was to show this from my laptop instead of my iPad, which is what I usually use. But I wanted to show you. I'm going to try and get you an angle where you can see this. There we go. You see that? Those are 5 needle felting needles right there. And they do the work really, really, really quickly for you. The guard that I just took off is adjustable. You can set it for really high or you can set it for really low. I prefer the high setting so that if I'm doing something that might have a thicker profile, I can, get it underneath this guard. This is just a way to protect you from hurting yourself or being hurt by a needle breaking in the middle of your project. I'm going to adjust the laptop one more time, pull my cord up because I want you to be able to see this as I'm working on it. So just like a machine, it's got a throttle, and I'll run the throttle here for you. And it can go, I mean, imagine being able to felt that fast. Here's the kicker. When you're sewing, you learn that your hands have to move quickly when the throttle is moving the machine quickly because those feed dogs are going to keep propelling even faster. They're going to match the machine. Remember Anna's rule number 2, always come out of the fiber the same direction you go into the fiber. If you're moving your hands too fast, you're going to be changing the direction of the needles while they're in the fiber and they are going to break off. Now, I will tell you that these needles are exactly the same needles that you use for needle felting, only they've been cut off. The handle portion has been cut off so that they can fit into the holder, into the machine holder. Because of that, they've got an extra step in preparing those needles for sale, and so they are a little on the pricey side. I will warn you, buy them in bulk when you can find them, because especially at the beginning, you're going to blow through an awful lot of needles. Even if you are being slow, you're just going to catch a needle every once in a while, and it is going to go flying, or it's going to end up down in the bottom. It has a little lint tray that you can clear out, and sometimes the broken needle will fall down below. Now, when you break a needle on this, it just takes an Allen wrench to open up the needle holder here in the center. That's the needle holder right there. Each needle has its own little Allen wrench spot for you to loosen up that particular needle and put in a new needle. You also have one Allen wrench spot here at the top where you can take off the entire mechanism if you need to replace all the needles at the same time. So um, be prepared to go through an awful lot of needles. But remember our scraps from yesterday? I'm going to use those to show you just how easy this is to use. All right? Now, again, when the throttle is going down, and it's just a matter of moving it slowly, and you can change directions that you're moving, and you'll see that here in a sec. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me. I might not be talking much as we're going through this, but I like to get at a nice kind of medium speed, and then I just slowly work the needle back and forth. Now, if you have edges, I like to go off the edge of the piece and then come back in. And you can hear that as I go through here. You can hear right there where I'm off the fabric. And it's just a matter of being very slow and deliberate. Like I said, you can change directions. You can even make swirly designs if you want. Turn it around so that you can get another end. And that is how easy it is to use the embellisher. And you can see, oh my goodness, that blue especially came through really, really well. Remember, when we're needle felting, if we can see a nice shadow on the back side, we know that we have needled appropriately. And this is especially nice for doing your grid patterns and doing it in more than one direction. And it's a little easier to work your grid when you're doing this, because you've got, the guides of the machine base, the foot plate, as it were, helping you figure out where those are. But that's how easy it is to use the embellisher. It's a really good tool to have on hand if you're doing a lot of flat needle felting work, or if you plan on using needle felting to allow you to embellish things or to decorate things. Needle felting is a great way to patch up a piece that's got a hole in it or has got a stain on it, like I said before. It's a wonderful way to let you put your own personal view on a machine made, mass produced garment. It's a great way to customize the things that you would normally, just look the same as everyone else who bought it at Target. Well, buy it at Target and then add a little bit of embellishment so that it becomes yours and yours alone. So that is the needle felting machine or the embellisher. I hope that this has helped you see another part of my process. I use this on a frequent basis, not a huge amount, but on a frequent enough basis that it was worth the $100 to get the machine to have on hand for embellishing smaller projects and doing things like decorating handmade scarves. I used it a lot at the beginning of my felting life. I would get, the generic knitted, machine knitted headbands, the ear warmer headbands that you'd get at Joann's or Walmart or Target or something, and I would use this machine to embellish a design on them, to customize them. Can't tell you how many of those suckers I sold way back in the day. But that was one of my first ways to customize and to take something that was already an item and to add a little personality and add a little extra touch to them. So, needle felting machine. I love it. It's a regular, standby machine in my repertoire, along with my drum carder back here. Yep, right back there, right there. There's one drum carder. The other one's across the way, and like my hackle right here behind the shoulder. There are tools that come in handy for doing specific things. You might not use them all the time, but they are good to have on hand. So, with that, I'll end our week of videos. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you all on Monday. See you next week. Bye.